topic to talk about tonight than the follow-up to Netflix's most-watched series ever, Squid Game Season 2. The first season, which premiered in 2021, drew in more than 265 million views in its first 91 days on the streaming service and earned 14 Emmy nominations and 6 wins. The second season, which sees player 456 going back to the games, has also proven popular, becoming Netflix's second most popular non-English TV series with more than 192 million views. We were introduced to a whole host of new characters this season and also a few familiar faces. So please join me in welcoming Chae Sung-hyun, who plays Thanos. Park Sung-hoon, who plays Cho Hyun-jin. Kang Ae-sim, who plays Chung Geum-ja. Lee Byung-hun, who plays In-ho, or the frontman. Lee Jung-jae, who plays Ki-hoon. And Squid Game creator, writer, and director, Hwang Dong-hyuk. All right, welcome everyone. Let's jump right in. Director Hwang, in this season, we see even more of the behind the scenes.
참가자로 위장해서 아무도 모르게 숨어서 활동을 하고 나중에 끝에서야 정체가 밝혀지는 뭐 그런 이야기들을 만들었다면 시즌2에서는 그걸 조금 반대로 비틀어서 그 프론트맨이 직접 게임으로 뛰어들었다는 것을 관객들은 모두 알고 있지만 그 안에 있는 기훈을 비롯한 다른 플레이어들은 모르는 그런 어떤 좀 다른 유형의 똑같이 1번이 이 게임의 호스트가 그 플레이어로 참가하지만 조금 다른 긴장을 불러일으키는 그런 방식으로 좀 새로운 재미들을 끌어내려고 노력을 했습니다.
In season 2, because we all know what happened and what Ki-hoon did in the first season, I firstly wanted to bring the elements that everyone loved so much about Squid Game. And, you know, whether it was the visual space or the gaming arena, one of the examples being the dormitory set. And story-wise, in the first season, you know that the player number 1, Oil Nam, is someone that he hides who he really is and comes into the game. And it is only revealed very later on in the story as a twist of the narrative. However, in the second season, I wanted to bring forth a new type of thrill and excitement, and also a new kind of entertainment factor where we all know that the player, number 1, is the front man. And so the audiences are all in on the secret. However, Ki-hoon and the other players are not aware of his true identity.
And this question is for Lee Jung-jae. You won the SAG Award and the Emmy for Best Actor. Season 1 Ki-hoon is very different from Season 2 Ki-hoon. It's 3 years later. He's haunted. He's traumatized. He has the weight of the world on him now. How did you think about portraying that character's off-screen evolution in Season 2 while still keeping the connective tissue to the Ki-hoon we meet in Season 1?
네, 배우님께서 이번에 연기하신 기훈은 시즌 1과 전혀 다르죠.
그래서 어떤 그런 외형적인 모습이나 정서적인 그런 감정에서 나오는 어떤 그런 기운의 그런 표현 방법이라든가 이런 것들이 시즌 1 때하고는 굉장히 많은 캐릭터 변화가 되어야만 좋을 것 같다라는 생각과 그 다음에 또 그렇게 또 시나리오를 쓰신 감독님의 의견과 그래서 그냥 시즌 1 때 기운의 그런 밝고 또 가벼운 이미지는 정말 볼 수 없을 정도의 변화가 필요했고 또 그런데 이제 시종일관 계속 시즌 2가 계속 그런 모습만 보여지면은 좀 답답하고 지루할 수 있는 부분들이 있으니까 감독님은 정배를 만났을 때는 다시 예전의 기훈의 모습이 금방이라도 보일 수 있는 그런 표현을 좀 했으면 좋겠다라고 말씀을 하셨고, 또 중간중간마다 정배가 그런 기운이 금방 또 깨어나올 수 있게 정배가 또 옆에서 많은 연기적으로 도움을, 분위기를 그렇게 만들어 주셨고 해서 시즌 1때의 기훈의 모습과 또 많이 달라진 기훈의 모습을 최대한 많이 보여드리려고 노력했습니다.
In the 3 years' time, I really wanted to portray how much effort Ki-hoon had put into wanting to find those behind the game. And so I also, it was both about the way he appears, how he looks on the outside, as well as the emotional portrayal of the character. I thought that it was important and almost a must that the way I express Ki-hoon had to be very different from how I approached the character in season 1. And that was also what director Hwang wanted as well. And so I thought that I really needed a very important change in the character, that almost to a point where when you see Ki-hoon in season 2, it's almost as if he is no longer the person that you knew in season 1. He's not the bright and someone who has like a light mood. But someone that almost seems like a completely different person. At the same time, we thought that if that was all there was to the character Ki-hoon, it might come off as very frustrating or too heavy or even boring at times. And so what director Hwang requested of me was that at least when Ki-hoon is with his friend Jung-bae, he wanted Ki-hoon, for the audience, to get a glimpse of the old Ki-hoon that we all know and love. And I'm very grateful for for my friend Jung-bae, who provided that support that I needed for Ki-hoon to be able to do that in those scenes. And so that's how I approached wanting to maintain a balance between how different Ki-hoon is and also what many people know.
시즌 2에서는 그 프론트맨이 사실 이제 가면을 벗고 새로운 영일이라는 새로운 인물을 연기를 참가자들 앞에서 하게 되고, 그래서 여러 가지의 모습들을 보여줄 수 있는 그런 어떤 시리즈였어요. 그래서 굉장히 기대도 되고 또 되게 흥미롭다고 생각을 했어요. 연기를 하면서도 굉장히 좋은 재밌는 포인트들이 많았고, 하지만 이제 하면서 또 당연히 어려운 부분들이 있었어요. 이제 인간에 대한 어떤 희망과 세상에 대한 희망을 하나도 가지고 있지 않은, 정말 이제 모든 것을 다 모든 감정을 다 잃은 것 같은 그런 상태의 인물이 과연 평범한 인간, 새로운 인간을 사람들 앞에서 연기를 할 때 과연 그 흥분과 환호와 어떤 긴장감과 두려움과 이런 것들을 정상인처럼 연기해낼 수 있을까? 그러니까 이런 지점들이 관객들을 얼마나 설득시킬 수 있는가에 대한 부분에 대해서 감독님하고 얘기를 많이 했는데, 의외로 이렇게 저렇게 연기를 해봤을 때 좀 더 표현하고 좀 더 과하게 나의 감정을 표출하는 것이 아주 크리피하고 더 오싹하고 그런 느낌들을 주는 것이 이 드라마의 성격에 왠지 좀 맞아떨어지는 그런 느낌이 들었던 것 같아요. 그래서 우리는 그래, 더 표현하고 더 우리가 마음껏 그 안에서 노는 것처럼 한번 연기를 해보자라는 쪽으로 결정을 했었던 것 같아요. 그것이 또 이 드라마의 성격에 더 맞아서 그 캐릭터를 더 살려줄 수 있었다는 생각이 들어요.
And he has to perform this new persona that he created as Young-in in front of the other participants of the game. And so I was excited as an actor. I thought it was very intriguing, a unique challenge for me to take on, because I'd be able to showcase so many different sides of this character. But it also, of course, came with its challenges. And it's because the frontman is a character who has zero hope for the world and for the humanity, almost seems void of any human emotion. And so because of that characteristic, I had to think about, then how does he put on this new act? You know, how does he portray this new persona in a convincing way? And how is he going to perform these raw and genuine human emotions, including excitement, fear, and thrill? How convincing can I make the character? And so these are some of the things that Director Hwang and I talked a lot about. And what we came to realize was that unlike what I had thought initially, being a little bit more raw and natural with the emotional expressions, it made the overall vibe of the character even more creepy and even more eerie, which we decided was actually a better fit for the story of Squid Game. And so we decided to just have fun with the character, to do a little bit more at times. And I think it was a great fit for Squid Game as well as the character.
여러 역할을 하면서 엄마 역할을 꽤 많이 했고, 그다음에 제 스스로가 아들 하나를 둔 엄마예요. 33살 먹은 아주 멋진 아들입니다. 그래서 그런 생활적인, 진짜 제가 갖고 있는 지금 현실 자체가 아들 하나를 두고 아들이 정말 잘 컸으면 멋진 사람이 됐으면 하고 바라는 엄마의 심정으로 연기를 해서 굉장히 조금 밀착감 있게 된 것 같고, 양동근 씨의 팬이에요. 용식 역할을 맡은 양동근 씨의 팬이죠. 그래서 더 좀 몰입감 있게 했던 것 같고, 그 다음에 엄마라는 그 캐릭터는 전 세계에서 엄마 소리만 들면 눈물 찍 날 수 있는 감정의 어떤 뭐랄까 그 키가 될 수 있는 그 역할이잖아요. 그게 또 강점이 됐던 것 같습니다.
So I've played many different roles in my career, and I play a lot of moms. And I'm also a mother of a son who is 33 years old. He's very cool. So I think my reality was quite similar to what I had to portray in Squid Game. I just hoped that my son would become a good person. I wanted to raise him well, and Kumja probably felt the same way for Yongsik. So I could really authentically portray this character. And I'm also a big fan of Yang Dong-gun, the actor who played my son Yongsik in Squid Game. So I could just totally immerse myself into my character, who is a mother who loves her son. And I think the notion of mother has something that just jerks tears in a lot of people when you just think about your mom. So that also helped me, and I think that's a strength that I had as a player.
This next question.
그렇게 또 여러 자료들을 찾아보면서 캐릭터를 구축해 나갔고요. 현주가 희화화되지 않기 위해서 좀 과장된 제스처나 그런 보이스 톤은 조금 지양하려고 애를 썼습니다. 그리고 현주가 트랜스젠더이긴 하지만 그것은 현주가 가진 수많은 어떤 특징 중에 하나라고 생각을 했고요. 그래서 그녀가 가진 내면과 성정에 좀 더 집중하려고 했던 것 같아요. 이 게임장 안에서 거의 유일하게 이타적이고 배려심 있고 또 부드러운 카리스마와 리더십까지 소유하고 있는 그런 용맹한 현주를 멋지게 그려내고 싶었습니다.
Yes, as a cisgender actor, I did have my concerns about representation when I'm playing a transgender character. The one priority that I had in mind in portraying this character was that I didn't want Hyunju to become like a caricature. I didn't want to portray her in an absurd-looking way. So I got a lot of advice from transgender individuals. I did my research, but what I really tried to do was steer away from the stereotypes that we have about transgender people. So being a transgender is just one of the qualities that she has, one of the traits that she has. So I really wanted to focus on her inner dialogue and the qualities that she has that are admirable. For example, she is probably the most selfless person in the game. She is compassionate, she's got leadership, she's brave. So I wanted to portray her as a very cool person.
This is for Chae Seong-hyun. Thanos is another fan favorite this season. He's also a rapper, but his his style is a departure from your own musical persona. You've said before that he uses old-fashioned sayings and is kind of cringe. What kind of conversations did you have with director Hwang in creating this character?
네, 승현 배우님 질문인데요. 타노스도 팬들이 정말 사랑하는 캐릭터입니다. 래퍼이지만 또 래퍼 타보로서의 그 아이덴티티와는 많이 다른 캐릭터인 것 같은데요. 배우님께서 좀 오그라들기도 하고 굉장히 심플한 그런 캐릭터라고도 이야기를 하셨습니다. 혹시 황 감독님과 어떤 대화를 통해서 이 캐릭터를 만들어 나가셨나요?
타노스 캐릭터를 준비하면서 감독님과 정말 많은 대화를 나눴던 것 같아요. 그래서 굉장히 디테일한 부분 하나하나까지 굉장히 많이 대화도 나누고 타노스라는 캐릭터 자체가 그렇게 근사한 래퍼가 아닌 젊은 나이에 실패한 인생의 약물에 의존하는 캐릭터다 보니까 타노스가 복용하는 그런 의존하는 약물의 특징이나 이런 것들을 많이 그 약을 복용했을 때 그런 약에 중독된 사람이 약물이 없을 때 느끼는 불안감 그리고 약을 복용했을 때 오는 좀 다른 텐션의 좀 하이 텐션의 상황들 그런 것들을 좀 많이 연구했던 것 같습니다. 그래서 사실 개인적으로는 저의 지난 과거에 잘못됐던 수치스러운 과오와 또 직면해야 되는 부분들도 있었기 때문에 개인적으로도 배우로서 조금 커다란 용기가 필요했던 건 사실이었던 것 같습니다. 근데 감독님께서 저를 정말 믿어주셨고 저도 그래서 또 용기를 낼 수 있었고 그 연기를 하면서 타노스라는 캐릭터를 만들어가는 과정 안에서 저 스스로도 제 지난날의 잘못된 과오에 대해서도 무언가 더 크게 반성하는 의미의 그런 캐릭터를 연기한 것 같아서 제 인생에서도 새로운 뭔가 챕터가 시작된 것 같아서 많은 걸 배웠습니다.
너무 재밌었어요.
감사합니다.
So, I think Thanos is a character that I had to have a lot of talks with director Hwang to create. We had a lot of talks down to the most minute details of this character. He's not an amazing rapper. He's more like a failed soul, a failed young person who's reliant on drugs. And I looked up what happens when he's addicted to those kinds of strong drugs, what kind of anxiety he feels, what kind of mood swings he has. And I wanted to infuse that into this character, Thanos. So I have made my mistakes in the past, and I had to come face to face with those mistakes when I was playing this character. So I needed to muster up a lot of courage to take on this role, but director Hwang gave me so much trust so I could have the confidence to play this role. And while creating this character Thanos, I could self-reflect about my past, and I think I can finally move on to a new chapter of my life. So I learned a lot playing this character.
This next question is for Director Hwang. You know, you tackled the idea of
방식이 그 AI가 만든 알고리즘에 의해서 되게 편향된 뉴스나 정보를 선택하고 심지어는 가짜 뉴스가 양산되는 이런 되게 선동적인 시대에 그 우리는 과연 올바른 민주주의를 이 선거를 통해서 다수결이라는 제도를 통해서 지켜나갈 수 있을까라는 어떤 그런 걱정, 우려 이런 것에 대한 질문도 한번 시즌 2를 통해서 한번 던져보고 싶었습니다.
If the first season was about exploring themes such as the risk of the limitless competition that has been born through the current capitalist society, in season 2 I wanted to not only further explore that theme but also explore some new themes as well. And one of them was, as you said, the voting system. And the voting only takes place once in the first season, and I wanted to bring that to a little bit more on the forefront in the second season. And the act of voting after each round of games not only shows the front man's confidence as the host of the games, thinking that no matter what you do, you are going to end up wanting to choose to play further. But also from a director and creator standpoint, I thought about how there are so many elections taking place in many countries around the world that have chosen liberal democracy as their system. And, you know, we like to say that voting is the heart of democracy. However, more and more so in the real world, we see these elections not bringing people together, but only leading to exacerbated conflict and division and hostility. And it only almost as if serves as yet another opportunity to confirm just how different we are against each other. That's the reality that we live in, and not only in Korea, but also here in America as well. And also the fact that every individual gets to cast a vote. If we think about how that works, you know, in this particular day and age where a lot of people get their news from algorithm-based or AI-based algorithms, and where so much fake news can be generated with AI, so much propaganda is rampant. Can we really protect democracy through the current vote by the majority rule? That's some of the questions that I wanted to ask.
You mentioned the frontman. Speaking of the frontman, Byung-hun, we know a little bit about the frontman's backstory, his wife who died, but even through season 2, his motivations aren't initially always clear, and there's a question hanging over the entire season about his motivation and what he's getting out of participating in the game. Sometimes the audience even starts to sympathize with him a little bit. How did you decide to play that? You mentioned it being kind of creepy and leaning into that. You know, how are we supposed to feel for him?
프런트맨에 대해서 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 이병헌 배우님. 그 전사를 저희가 조금 알게 되는데요. 뭐 아내의 죽음이라든지 이런 것들을 좀 배우게 되는데, 사실 그럼에도 불구하고 시즌 내내 과연 프런트맨의 동기가 무엇일까는 계속해서 명확하지 않은 상태인 것 같습니다. 그래서 때로는 사람들이 프런트맨의 행동이나 말을 보면서 왜 그럴까 하는 것을 계속 궁금해하게 되고요. 심지어는 또 관객들이 프런트맨이 악역임에도 불구하고 공감하는 지점들도 있는데, 아까 좀 그런 크리피한 이런 무드를 좀 만들어냈다라고 말씀하셨는데, 과연 그런 프런트맨을 저희가 시즌2에서 보면서 어떤 감정을 느껴야 할까요?
프론트맨은 사실 프론트맨이 왜 기훈에게 저렇게 집착을 할까에 대한 먼저 궁금증들을 많이들 가지고 계세요. 근데 이제 제가 해석한, 이 이야기를 해석한 바로는, 기훈이 이제 우승자로서 나가게 되고, 하지만 기훈은 다시 이 모든 시스템을 무너뜨리기 위해서 다시 한번 오징어 게임에 참여를 하게 되는 그 어떤 결정을, 그 판단을 보면서 어쩌면 프론트맨은 자기 자신을 약간 비춰볼 수 있는, 그 기훈에게서 자기 자신의 모습을 보고서 어느 정도 어떤 다른 측면에서는 자기를 보는 것 같은 애착 같은 느낌도 있었을 거고, 하지만 이 모든 시스템을 망가뜨리겠다는, 없애겠다는 기운을 보면서 과연 이 모든 상황을 다시 한번 겪으면서 네가 여전히 인간에 대해서, 세상에 대해서 희망을 가지고 여전히 그런 정의를 위해서 싸울 수 있는지 어디 한번 보자. 분명 너는 어떤 나와 똑같은 깨달음을 가지게 될 것이다라는 어떤 생각으로 그의 신념을 무너뜨리기 위해서 계속 그를 관찰을 하죠. 하지만 어떤 면에서는 사실 프론트맨도 비록 가면에 가려져서 그의 감정이 100% 읽히지는 않지만, 분명 가면에 가려진 그 프론트맨의 감정은 때로는 어떤 흔들림도 있었을 거고, 때로는 망설임이나 기운을 보면서 어떤 응원의 마음, 나는 해내지 못했던 어떤 그런 부분들을 너라도 해냈으면 좋겠다라는 일말의 어떤 희망도 살짝은 있었을 거란 생각이 들어요. 그리고 나는 해내지 못했는데 여전히 그 끝까지 신념을 버리지 않는 기운을 보면서 또 설명할 수 없는 어떤 시기심 같은 것도 분명히 있었을 거고 그런 복잡한 감정들이 프론트맨에게 있어서 그런 것들을 표현하는 것에 대한 어려움과 동시에 재미가 있었던 그런 어떤 기억들이 있어요.
I know that a lot of the audiences wonder, why is the frontman so obsessed with Ki-hoon? And this is how I interpret it. So Ki-hoon came out as the winner of Squid Game, as has the frontman in the past. However, Ki-hoon decided to come back to the games in order to dismantle the system. And so in the frontman's eyes, watching Ki-hoon make a decision like that, I think he almost saw a little bit of himself in Ki-hoon. A part of it can be described as some kind of attachment even. And there's also, I think, a part of him that wants to say, okay, let's see how far you go. Let's see if after all this, after you go through these games once again, if you still manage to hold on to your beliefs and have hope for humanity, you will become just like me at the end of it all. So there's a part of him that really wants to break down and dismantle his beliefs. And then I think there's another part of him where even though we can't see a lot of his emotions, it's not readable because of his masks, I think that at times he's a little bit hesitant. He sometimes feels a slight wavering of heart. I also think that sometimes he finds himself rooting for Ki-hoon even. And I think that he maybe has a slimmer of hope looking at Ki-hoon, thinking that I couldn't do it, but I hope you can do it. But then there's also a part of him that feels envy as well, because he knows that he wasn't capable of what Ki-hoon seems to be capable of. And so having to portray such a complex, layered character, it was indeed a huge challenge, but also something that I had a lot of fun with as a performer.
This next question is for someone. You offer such a wonderfully layered and complex emotional performance, but there's also such a physical performance with some of the action sequences in the last few episodes. What kind of stunt training or fight training was there for it? And I guess this question goes out to everybody else after that as well, just about the general stunt training.
네, 성은 배우님께 질문인데 답변하시고 다른 분들도 해주시면 좋을 것 같은데요. 이제 물론 현주라는 캐릭터를 굉장히 좀 다면적으로 감정적으로 또 표현을 하시기도 하셨지만 특히 이제 후반부를 가면은 액션이 굉장히 많습니다. 그래서 어떻게 좀 스턴트 트레이닝을 거치셨는지 궁금하고요. 다른 분들도 한번 그런 트레이닝 과정에 대해서 말씀 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
반란을 하는 장면을 찍으면서 저희가 모두 놀랬던 거는 저희 모든 남자 배우들이 총기를 능숙하게 다룰 수 있다는 거예요. 왜냐면 우리는 모두 한때 군인이었거든요. 대한민국은 국방의 의무가 있기 때문에 다들 총기를 능숙하게 다루는 것을 보고 굉장히 놀랍기도 하고 즐거웠던 기억이 있고 그리고 근데 제가 권총은 사실은 달아본 적이 없었어서 조금 조작이 미숙했는데 그때 병원 선배님께서 옆에서 조금 조언을 해주셔서 촬영을 잘 마쳤던 그런 기억이 있습니다.
So when we were filming the coup scene, we were very surprised because all the men were very good with guns. It's because in Korea, all the men have to serve military service. So that's why we were so good with all the guns. And it was almost funny that we were having no trouble using the guns. But I haven't used a handgun, like a pistol before or revolver before. So Pyongan helped me out a lot on that.
And then the same question for everybody else. There are so many action sequences in this whole season. How did you approach the action training and the stunt training?
For me, as an actor who played... Okay, I'm going to speak in English from now on. As an actor who played Storm Shadow in G.I. Joe, I didn't have any hard time for shooting this joke. I had only just a few action scenes especially with Seung-hyun. The action scene with Seung-hyun was so fun, and we practiced a little bit in my house.
For me as an actor, it's joke. 저 같은 경우에 아까 보셨던 그 화장실에서의 액션씬의 그 명기와 마지막 액션씬을 찍을 때 사실은 촬영을 하다가 거의 마지막 액션 부분쯤에서 갈비뼈가 금이 갔었어요. 그래서 거의 끝나갈 때쯤이어서 그래도 다행히 좀 아픈 와중에 촬영을 계속 해나가고 있었는데 재밌었던 에피소드는 감독님께서 이제 걱정하시는 표정으로 와서 위로의 말씀으로 그래도 마지막 촬영 날 다쳐서 다행이다라고 말씀하시면서 중간에 다쳤으면은 촬영이 더 늦어졌을 텐데 마지막에 다친 게 참 다행이라고 말씀해 주셨습니다. 그래서 역시 감독님은 정말 작품 연출에만 역시 몰입해 계시는구나. 그 프로페셔널함에 다시 감동했습니다.
So for me, there's the brutal bathroom scene that you just saw together with Myung-gi, and almost at the end of the shoot, I had an injury in my chest bone, but it was almost at the end. It was like the last day of shoot. So Director Hwang told me, we're so lucky that it's on the last day of shoot, because if you had an injury earlier, then there would be delays. So I thought that Director Hwang was such a professional director, master, and artist.
For me, as a director, I have like a strong cold blood, so that's what I said. Also, I think have you injured at the end of the scene, so sorry about it.
그리고 마지막 장면은 타노스의 또 이 천방지축 개구쟁이가 마지막 또 사고를 치고 너무 마지막에 또 임팩트 있게 죽여주셔서 너무 감사한 마음이 큽니다.
Well, I'm happy that the finale of Thanos was very man-child-like. He would be a very big troublemaker, and I love the impact of his death. So thank you to Director Hwang for my death.
Speaking of physicality, Seung-hyun, there's also a physicality to Thanos that we don't really see in the other characters, like when he's skipping down to vote or the way he gestures when he talks. How do you balance the comedic elements of this character while making him as threatening as he needs to be?
네, 승현배우님, 타노스가 또 저희가 이제 엑스맨에 대해서 얘기를 하다 보니까 좀 몸가짐이 특이한 것이 이제 투표를 하러 갈 때 폴짝폴짝 뛰어가기도 하고 과도한 제스처를 많이 사용을 하는데요. 이제 위협적인 캐릭터이면서도 좀 코미디적인 부분이 있는데 어떻게 좀 균형을 잡으셨나요?
감독님이 옆에서 굉장히 가장 많이 당연히 잡아주셨고요. 감독님께서 가장 많이 디렉션 주셨던 것은 좀 덜 미쳐주세요 혹은 더 미쳐주세요 이렇게 말씀하실 때도 있었지만 이 친구의 좀 우스꽝스럽고 좀 크린지한 부분이 그냥 빌런이 아닌 조금 돌발 행동에서 예측할 수 없는 그런 독특한 캐릭터를 조금 만들고 싶다라는 생각이 좀 있었던 것 같아요. 그래서 그 부분을 감독님과 정말 많이 상의하면서 정말 즐겁게 작업했었습니다.
So Director Hwang helped me out a lot in that aspect, and he would usually give me advices that went either go less crazy or go crazier. So those were the two advices that he would give me on set a lot. And because Thanos is so dorky and cringe, I don't think he's a flat villain. He's like a loose cannon. You don't know what he's gonna do next. So I wanted to create this very unique, never before seen character with Thanos, and I had a lot of talks with Director Hwang about it, and I enjoyed being on set, being Thanos.
Woo! And a similar question for Jung-jae. Ki-hoon is this very serious character this season, but there are a few glimpses of who he was, like you mentioned when he's talking to his old friend. But he can be so quiet and convey so much wordlessly. How did you really think about this character, and what kind of conversations did you have with Director Hwang about how to translate what was on the page into action?
네, 시청자 배우님께 질문 드리겠습니다. 기훈이 굉장히 이번에 진지한 캐릭터인데요. 아까 말씀해주신 것처럼 그럼에도 불구하고 또 예전의 기훈의 모습을 저희가 볼 수 있기도 합니다. 그런데 인상적인 것은 아주 조용히 대사가 많이 없이 많은 감정을 표현해야 됐다라는 점인데요. 황동혁 감독님과 함께 이런 부분들, 대본 속에 이런 쓰여진 기훈의 감정 표현들을 어떻게 표현할지에 대해서 어떤 식의 대화를 나누셨는지 궁금해요.
저는 이제 좀 시즌 1 때의 기훈의 모습을 시즌 2에서 많이 연결지어서 연기를 좀 해볼까 했었는데, 이제 감독님은 이제 좀 더 기훈이 제가 생각한 것보다 더 이 전체 시즌에서 무게중심을 좀 잡아주시기를 원하셨고, 그리고 감정 표현을 조금 더 계속 이제 무게감 있고 또 절제된 그런 표현을 원하셨어요. 그래서 시즌 1에 있었던 그 기운하고 어떻게 보면은 더 많이 달라져 보이는 모습을 원하셨던 것 같아요. 그래서 저도 그런 쪽으로 최대한 이제 맞춰서 이제 기운을 이제 조금씩 더 만들어봤던 것 같은데, 그러다 보니까 이제 아까 얘기가 나왔었던 시즌 1의 기운을 이제 그리워하시는 분들에게 어떻게 좀 보여드릴 방법이 없을까 했는데, 이제 다행히도 이제 그 정배라는 캐릭터를 통해서 이제 보여드릴 수 있었고, 그리고 이제 이제 좀 있으면 이제 시즌 3가 이제 공개가 될 텐데, 시즌 3에서는 이제 더 이제 변화된 어떤 그런 기운의 모습이 또 나오게 되는데, 그게 바로 정배의 죽음 이후로 또 변화된 모습을 또 보실 수 있을 겁니다. 그래서 어떻게 보면은 기훈이 시즌 1과 2와 3을 통해서 꽤 많은 그 변화되는 그런 감정적인 그런 표현들, 또 그런 상황 속에서의 어떤 선택을 할 것인가에 대한 어떤 그런 궁금증, 저때 정말 의외의 선택을 또 기훈이 하는구나라는 어떤 그런 모습들을 또 시즌 3에서 보실 수 있을 겁니다.
In the beginning, I originally had thought that I want to channel more of the Ki-hoon in season 1 in my portrayal of the Ki-hoon in season 2. However, director Hwang actually, more so than what I had expected, wanted an even greater transition of a character, and he wanted Ki-hoon to carry more weight in the story. And so when it came to the emotional expressions of my character, he wanted it to be portrayed in a heavier and a more reserved manner. And I believe that he wanted an even greater character arc and change to be shown by Ki-hoon. And so I built my character accordingly. And in the process, we got to thinking about what about the fans who miss the old Ki-hoon a lot. And very thankfully, we had the director Chong Bae, who brought about those moments from Ki-hoon that you could see him as the old self that we know and love. And of course, as we know, season 3 is coming soon. And in season 3, you're going to get to see an even more drastic character arc of Ki-hoon that has been brought on by the death of his friend Chong Bae. And so I think that it's going to be very entertaining and an intriguing ride for all of you to really follow the emotional journey of Ki-hoon all throughout the 3 seasons, as well as try to find the answers to your curiosity as to what kind of choices will Ki-hoon be making.
Very lastly, Director Hwang, is there anything else you can tell us about season 3?
Whatever you imagine or expect, it will be more than that. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you all so much for your time and your insights. Please give it up for our cast.